Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the final episode of the year, actually, of the Get Off My Lawn podcast, the best show that nobody's watching. I think that's what we're going to start calling this, at least until the numbers come up and you all help me share this and help it grow. So I'm doing what I can, guys. I'm sharing it freaking everywhere. So it would be cool if you guys would do it too. You can see my other semi-official co-host is wagging her tail here in the back. So if I get distracted tonight, it is because the puppy's in the room. We may have to change that later. We'll see. If she settles down, then we'll be all right. It is New Year's Eve tonight. So we're gonna do some wrapping up, and we're just gonna have a little fun tonight and kind of see where the night takes us. Real quick here, let me bring in a couple of the usual suspects to join our panel tonight. First off, we have got reporting in from the Star City, the capital of Lincoln, Nebraska, everybody's favorite tactical teacher. It is Travis P. Once.
There you go. Hey, your Spanish is getting better every week, man. You're going to be ready for Taco Bell in no time. So
I can almost count to 10 now without taking off my zapatas. So
well, zapatos, but that's okay. No, it's all good. But no, man. Hey, I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Cool.
All right. And you have seen this man recently coming to you live from an undisclosed location in a field, disking up the land, getting ready to feed America, but he is no longer in the tractor. So coming to us tonight, the man, the myth, the legend, Pat, in a bunker. Although he turned off his camera, and I don't know if he's there. Pat, you with us? Pat will be back. Pat has left the building, so he's not just a farmer; he's also a dad. So he may have some dad stuff to do real quick, but he'll be back. That's it right now. That is it for our panel. We do not have the fully semi-official co-host tonight. Defense Dad will not be making an appearance because it is the anniversary of his inaugural trip around the sun. So for those of you that don't know what that meant, it's his birthday. And he is like 187 years old. I don't know. He's really old. I don't know how old.
He turned 21. He said 21. He said something. 21? I'm supposed to pick him up. We're supposed to go out or something. I don't know what the.
Oh, okay.
Something about some bars or something.
Drinks are on Defense Dad. If you can find him, then tell him I said he owes you a drink tonight. That's how that's going to work. So if you're in Lincoln and you see Defense Dad, then let him know that I said he's buying, and we'll see how well that works. If it doesn't work, then that's his fault, not mine. So
see if we nag him enough, maybe he'll show up.
No, I'm sure he's actually out with family tonight because I think that was the plan. But he said he has to pick between partying on his birthday or partying for New Year's Eve, and he'd rather party on his birthday. It's not quite as nuts, and then he can just stay home and feel the effects of tomorrow night. So there he is. Now he's back. Pat is here with us. What's up, sir?
Oh, not much. Just had a little something I had to take care of real quick, but I am back. So
all good.
Yeah.
All good. All right. Well, thanks for being here, gentlemen. And if anybody else out there, if you didn't get a link and you want to just hop in and hang out with us tonight, then please feel free to let me know. We will try to get you in here too. You can just kind of hang out tonight. Otherwise, make those comments. Get that chat section lively. I can't talk. You guys know how this works. Don't worry about me. Who do we have out there tonight? Gerald is here. Welcome, Gerald. Glad to have you with us tonight. So Gerald and I know each other from the Party Foul Pub and Party Foul Nation. He's one of Party Foul Steve's friends, and you see him commenting a lot over on the Chad Prather stuff on Facebook. Watch Chad and some of those pages. But I'm glad you're here with us tonight. And what is it that Party Foul Tony always says? Shut the F up, Gerald. So but it's meant in a loving way. I know she says it in a loving way. So glad you're with us. And you don't have to shut the F up here. Go ahead and comment and just have fun with us tonight. All right. And also we've got, who do we have? My beautiful bride is out there in the chat, and she's in the producer's chair making sure I don't screw stuff up too badly tonight. So If I do, it is not on her. Trust me, I can do that all by myself. So Pat's out there and in here, and Travis is out there and in here. Ghost is in the house. What's up, Ghost? He's the ghost with the most. So tonight, Ghost, if you want to hop in, if you've got time and you want to hang out on the panel, let me know. Tonight we're going to do things just I don't know if I want to do a wrap up of this year just because there's so much crap that's happened that I don't really want anybody to bring up. So
Right.
Let's just
We'll
put this
see.
year to sleep and move on.
Right.
Seriously, let's just put it. It needs to be put down so bad.
But
So
you know how
bad.
this works. This is the week where we see all those new year, new me posts out there on social media, the Facebook and the Insta Yap and whatever else it is. So what were we watching last night that they had? Oh, on A Million Little Things, the Instagram version that doesn't break any trademark laws was called Insta Yap, was the app that the person was using. So Ghost, yeah, I think you've got a link in your inbox, one of your whichever inbox I have or email I have, Ghost. So if you want to pop in, you just go ahead. You know you're welcome anytime. We just got done eating. We got some really good food and then came home and had to get ready for this. So all right. Anyway, it's time for that new year, new me stuff to be posted all over the place. And I just want you guys to know that I don't buy into that crap. It's never true anyway. And so you have my commitment that I will still be the same lovable, grumpy old curmudgeon that I've always been, except for it's getting worse. And Sandhill Sweetheart can attest to that. Every year it seems like it gets worse, but I don't know, it feels like it's snowballing. It is increasing exponentially. So I'm not sure. I keep telling her in 10 years, I don't know if she'll be able to deal with me. And she keeps saying that she's in for the long haul. So I didn't take that as a challenge. I just want you to know I'll try to be somebody that she can deal with, but like I said, it's increasing. My tolerance for the world's BS, I think, is just getting lower and lower. It's getting depleted. It's getting all used up, and oh, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to be changing a few things, even on the Facebook side. If you're watching out there on Facebook, I don't see anybody in the comments yet on Facebook. So if you're out there, let us know. And if you're out there on YouTube, let us know. Get those comments going. You know what? Let's put the ticker up there. Also, I would encourage everybody to please hit that share button, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, and just let everybody else know that you're watching this. Invite them to come watch with you. And you can even say hi to them in the chat once you know they're there. So you guys can have, your own conversations. But I want to get some cool comments tonight that we can put up on the screen and really get to interact with all you guys. That's why this is better than TV, better than radio, because if you're catching us live, then you can actually be part of the conversation. You don't just have to sit back and watch or listen. So also a couple things that we always like to mention. We are a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. So you can check out this and a ton of other great Second Amendment and freedom related podcasts over at sdrn.us. So go ahead and check that out as well, but don't go yet. Wait till we're done. Please hang out with us and let everybody know to come here. Then share that link as well and go check out all the cool shows over there. So, all right. And then, of course, if you're catching this on the replay and you have something that you want to add, comments, things like that, then there's a comment section for that too. So whether you're leaving the live comments or after the fact, light them up. I want to know if you like what we say, if you hate what we say, and I want to know why. Either direction. So, who else do we have out there? Lonesome Lenny is in the house. You know what? You're among friends, Lenny. Although I don't think I've ever seen that name. So welcome. But you don't have to be lonesome. Almost had a farmersonly.com jingle in my head there. Anyway, we don't have to go there. All right. Anyway, so instead of listing a whole bunch of resolutions that nobody keeps. And I'm not going to tell you that my resolution is to, lose 20 pounds or get to the gym or get out and walk or whatever like that. not even going to attempt to talk about that kind of garbage because nobody ever follows through. And there's always a spike in gym memberships this time of year. And by February, the gym attendance is back down to what it is the rest of the year. So only a few people actually stay committed. So what I want to talk about tonight is, we'll see if time allows, we may get into some of the things that happened this year, and we're not going to dwell on the negative, but there was some good that came out of 2021. So we'll get into some of that. But the bigger things I want to talk about are some predictions for 2022, and specifically revolving around the Second Amendment, and not only our freedoms and our rights as firearm owners, but also just freedoms and rights in general. So really, I think we'll kick it off with that. If you have predictions, let us know out there in the chat, and just, where do you think laws are going to go? Which laws do you think will get passed or repealed, I guess, or taken away in the next year? And then just in freedom in general, mask mandates and lockdowns and things like that. Do you guys think it's going to get better? Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think it'll be status quo for another 12 months? So I kind of want to know what everybody thinks about all that. And we'll let you guys weigh in here too in the panel. So Travis, what do you think? If you have a crystal ball, what is 2022 going to bring us?
I just think if the government tries to instill some sort of 2-week lockdown again or forced mandates, I just think people are getting burned out on. I look at all the places here in town, and I'm not saying people should do this or not, but there's a lot of places where it says, masks required, right? And a lot of people just they don't care. They're not following it unless they're told to leave by management. They just don't. I mean, the signs are right there, but you walk around and I think people are burned out on it. They're tired of it. And they'll do what they want to do, but I just think people are getting tired of it. And if you're going to sit there and start telling people, well, you got to stay home for 2 weeks, or your restaurant can't stay open, or I think people are just not going to follow it. I think they just honestly don't. Not that they don't care, they're just tired of it and they want their lives back.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just saying that's my observation. That's what I see in this big city where we live right now. So yeah.
Nope, I think you're right. Pat, we'll get to you in a second, but first I just want to welcome Squib into the panel. He is here with us now.
Squib
so
Baldwin.
We'll give him a chance to get over to his mute button. But Squib, welcome. And if you have a chance to talk, how you doing?
I'm here.
Glad to have you along. We'll give you a second to compile your thoughts if you can here while I'm assuming you're at work. Pat, we'll move over to you. What do you foresee happening this year as far as our rights and our freedoms?
Just from what I've seen from this year, I think we need to put it down like Old Yeller and just move on. Sorry, a little rough, but I think we do. As far as, and I hate to use this analogy just because it gets thrown around so dang much, but red versus blue states, I think you're going to see the red states get redder, and I think you're going to see the blue states get bluer. It's just a prediction on my part. I could be way off the ball on it.
Do you think, are you meaning in terms of the population? There's going to be a mass exodus of conservative people leaving the blue states and moving to somewhere a little more conservative friendly? Or do you just mean that the hearts and minds are, I shouldn't say hearts and minds, the people are just getting fed up, and that there's going to be more places? What do you actually mean when you say that?
What I'm meaning is, as far as all the states and stuff have gone, as far as moving the 2A along, in the red states and everything, that getting redder as time goes on.
Okay.
Re-intensifying. And you did bring up a really good point, Sandy. As far as people moving out of blue states, going to red states, because the last couple figures that I have seen anyway, what was it? New York was up almost 2% on population, on the population moving out and I think California was at like 1 or 1.2, something like that. It was somewhere right around in there. The last figure that I saw. Now whether that's right or not, I don't know. That's just the figures that I had seen.
Well, and somebody
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think California lost enough population. They lost a House seat, didn't they?
No, boy,
Didn't they
yeah,
lose
I'm not sure on that, but I know there was a lot of people that left there because
if I remember
Montana,
right?
it's either Montana or Wyoming is picking up a seat. So yeah, it's I mean, if more of the freedom-loving people want to come to red states and be free and be able to make their own choices, and by all means, please come. Just bring your money, leave the old ideology behind in the
Don't
rearview mirror.
California, my Nebraska.
John, they did lose a seat in April.
Okay,
April 2021. Yep.
I was thinking that happened, that there was enough of a population shift that they
Yeah.
lost some seats, and I think Texas may be one of the states that gained enough population to gain an extra representative.
Texas their population is exploding, dude. It's just
Yeah.
I got friends that live down there, and it's just the DFW area is just freaking.
Yeah.
And Florida and Texas are two states that are growing tremendously. Nebraska too, believe it or not.
Yeah. And
we're up
Austin,
7.4%.
Where my sister moved to from California. Yeah, the outskirts where you see that tiny little blueberry sitting there in the middle, they've pretty much got them squashed right at the moment as far as population with freedom-loving people around the outside of it. But yeah, Austin right now is just exploding.
Yeah.
Right.
Austin is one of the two places in Texas that I've been. I've been to Austin. I've been to Fort Worth. I still have not yet been to Dallas, but I've been to Fort Worth a few times now. So
it's a cool place. You got to go sometime.
Austin's cool. I can definitely see from even my couple hours that I was actually downtown. Yeah, Austin definitely isn't like the rest of Texas, that's for sure. Although it's arguable that Omaha is not like the rest of Nebraska, and not even arguable. It's no secret. I don't think anybody probably would argue with that. So, yeah, it just seems like the urban, the population centers. I mean, they tend to run a little more. I don't know if I want to say liberal. You guys know my struggle with the right term here. Liberal itself isn't a bad thing. Left isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know what else to call the people that don't think I should have all the freedoms that I think I should have. So anyway, though those kind of voters tend to come from the more populated sections of any given state. And when you get out into the rural areas, New York, California are no different than Nebraska or Michigan. I mean, the rural population tends to be pretty freedom loving and just wants to be left alone. So, and from what I've seen and people that I've talked to, I don't think there's a state in the union that's really any different, with the possible exception of maybe Hawaii, just because I don't think I've ever talked to more than a handful of people that have actually lived there and spent time. So that they're not really on my radar. Squib, if you've got a second, any predictions you want to make as far as laws and freedoms and what happens next year? Does it get better? Does it get worse?
Oh boy. Well, no, I don't think it'll get worse, but okay. How about if I look at this from a perspective of courage? Okay. Travis, I agree. I think people are fed up and they have the courage to stand up and say, I'm just not doing this anymore. I saw this last year when this first started, where people said, no, I'm not doing this. So there's positive courage. Pat, lack of courage. Most of the people that I talk to that live in these restrictive states that are never getting any better, they are lost causes. All they want to do is complain and whine and ask for sympathy, but none of them have the courage to move. No matter what I tell them, they have nothing but a list of excuses, and that's all they are excuses, because moving is not hard to do. People think it is, and I'm not saying it isn't work, okay? But I've moved around so many times in my life, it's not really that hard. And I'm not saying you have to be like me, but I'm saying if I can do it, you can do it. So anything other than that is an excuse. Either quit complaining, change your state, or move. And moving would actually, I think, be the best strategic thing to do, because if you've got a state that is particularly red and it's starting to turn purple, if people who live in a state who would prefer their state to be red, but it'll never be red, move there, they bolster those numbers. So I see a lack of courage there. Now, Sandhills, it's okay to say that left-leaning people, that liberal people, that progressive people, that people like that are the problem. It's okay. Have the courage to insult your audience. Don't worry about your analytics.
Oh, I haven't looked at analytics in, I can't tell you when the last time was I did. So
Being so nice, don't beat around the bush. Just say, yes, it is the left. Now, that doesn't mean that people in the right are saints and they're perfect and all that. No. But, if anybody tells me, oh, yeah, I vote this way, I always vote this way, this, that, and the other, but I believe in freedom. No, you don't. I haven't met one in my entire life. So that's just, and I'm not saying that people on the right are just, they're perfect and everybody's got to be like that either. Moderates, they don't stand for a thing. So moderates drive me up a wall, because take a stand, dude. Or they take a stand, but then next year they change their mind. So it's like, you just don't know I think they're bipolar. I don't know. But just, have the courage to call things out for what they are, but also be objective. Because if you think you walk on water, that's a whole nother thing too. That's being about as bad as the people that think that they have the right, but you don't have the right.
I've only ever managed to walk on water twice so far. So actually, I know tons of people that walk on water. It's usually frozen and they're ice fishing, but that's one thing that I am deathly afraid of. So I'm a big wuss when it comes to ice fishing. I'm not going to do it. I mean, maybe if I went up to Minnesota, North Dakota, Canada, where, I know the ice is thick enough that you can put a town on it. Yeah, that would be fine. But I don't want to go out on ice that's going to crack and pop and I have to walk through water to get there. That seems to me like I'm going to fall through and drown. And that's one of my irrational fears. So anyway, that notwithstanding, either way, I agree. Not everybody on the left is bad. Not everybody on the right is good. I don't care if you have a D or an R behind your name. In fact, if you're on my Facebook page, you saw the meme that I posted here, I think earlier in the week, that showed two different revolver cylinders. One was labeled Russian roulette, and there's one loaded chamber and 5 empty chambers in the cylinder. And then underneath it was a picture that said American roulette, and 3 chambers are loaded with blue cartridges with a donkey on them, and the other 3 are loaded with red cartridges with an elephant on them. And that, to me, is exactly right. You're taking a chance in American politics. Both sides, if we're talking red and blue, both sides are clamoring to get as close to the center line as they could possibly be. And everybody, it seems like, with the exception of a handful on each end, everybody that is a lawmaker, they're afraid to take a stand and actually be held, strong in their convictions. So I agree with that. I also like what you said about people complaining all the time. Reminded me of another meme. I think I shared it on Facebook, but it said, it was actually, I think, Dan Wass that posted it up. You cannot complain and comply at the same time. You have to pick one or the other. If you're going to complain, then fine. Don't comply. And if you're going to comply, then fine, don't complain about it. Because if you're going to bellyache about it and then go ahead and do it anyway, you're right back in that riding the fence, and you haven't picked a side. And if you're going to come down and land a straddle of a fence, it hurts. No good can come of it. So,
well, with regard to the revolver analogy, the only thing I have to say is that it went off itself. I didn't pull the trigger.
Yes, because those can do that. Absolutely true. Yeah, and I know so because the dude in your avatar picture said so. And Alec Baldwin has never lied before, and he's never told anybody anything that wasn't true. So, yeah,
Always
I
believe what the
agree.
Hollywood stars tell us. Always.
They know more than we do. That's why
They
we
do.
should look to them. I actually,
Yeah.
I exclusively learn who to vote for by asking Hollywood stars, Nashville recording artists, and sports figures. I don't care about anybody else's opinion as long as those three groups tell me who to vote for. Then I know before I even go to the poll how to fill out my ballot. So we're good. So I can't think of three worse groups of people to. I honestly don't. And I know this is going to step on toes, and it's going to step on toes close to home because I've had people ask me the same question. But if you have to ask somebody else how to vote on a given topic, then you are dangerous. You are careless, you're reckless, and you're no different than an untrained actor holding a firearm with a loaded, a live round loaded into it. Your vote is way more dangerous, way more deadly than one single round of ammunition. And if you're just going to haphazardly trust somebody else to do that, and you're not going to do your own research, then and I'm not going to say you shouldn't vote because it's your right as an American citizen. But if you're going to exercise that right, it's like every other right. A lot of responsibility rides on that right. So you owe it to yourself, you owe it to everybody else in your district, your county, your state, and your nation to do your research, learn about every candidate, vote accordingly. If you've got laws and ballot initiatives and measures, levies, things like that, learn about them, find out the good and the bad, do some research, people. Good Lord. And I know I've had people ask me about specific topics or specific races before and voting and if I've ever answered before, I'm not anymore. From now on, I'm just going to say, look, you need to do your own research. Here's a great place to find out info. If it's a specific law, then I will give you the skinny, and I'll give you my opinion on a law, but not a candidate. You need to, and if I give you my opinion, it's not going to be to tell you who to vote for. You should still do your own research, but I'll tell you what I think. If you want to know what I think, don't ask me who to vote for. That's one of the things that we're going to get to, I think, here in a little bit. Some of the stuff that I'm hoping that we'll get to see happen in our state here later on, or not later this year, but next year in 2022. So, all right. Anybody else have anything else that that you think is maybe going to happen next year?
With midterms coming up, do you think things will be stagnant because, like you were saying, they're afraid to take a stand either one way or the other?
Okay, so some of this may be what I hope, and some of it may be what I think. And on this topic, I'm going to be honest, I have a hard time differentiating between what I think and what could be me projecting my hopes onto what I think instead. But we've already talked about people being fed up. And what I think is going to happen is that people are definitely fed up. They're done with feeling that government thumb pushing down on them, right? And even in the blue areas, the blue states, the blue counties, the blue cities, there are a ton of people that are getting tired of it. And I don't necessarily want to say that they're waking up, but a lot of people are starting to realize that we cannot sustain any longer at all, or not very much longer, with having things shut down and just trying to control the people. I think what's happening is that those that are in power or consider themselves to be in power are fighting right now to maintain their grip on that power. And it's kind of like having a handful of Play-Doh. The harder you grip it, the more slips out between your fingers, right? I think that's what we're seeing in a lot of places right now. What I hope happens and what I think is going to happen is that so many people are getting fed up that some of these candidates that just refuse to see what's happening and keep doubling down and saying, there's nothing to see here. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Look over at the lights and the flames and the shiny, flashy stuff, because that's where your attention needs to be. People are starting to see through that crap. So I think those politicians, their days are numbered. I truly hope their days are numbered. I could care less what letters behind their name, because I've seen a little bit of that from both sides of the aisle. I really think midterm elections are this may not be the most important midterm election in my lifetime. It is definitely the most important midterm election since I've been paying attention. And if midterms go the way that I hope they go, then we're going to see for sure more seats on the Republican side of the aisle in the House. Will we retake the majority? I would hope so, but I don't know. That almost seems like maybe a little too much to hope for. For sure, we gain a few more spots in the Senate. Maybe not enough to guarantee that supermajority, but I believe that the Senate is decidedly red. I think we're going to gain 4 or 5 spots. So at least that's what I think is going to happen, and it's all come down to the people have spoken. I made this meme. I thought I was clever at the time. I hope it was. I put up a picture of the part of the Declaration of Independence that says governments derive their power from the consent of the governed. The consent of the governed. I said, the governed have spoken, and we do not consent. I think that's happening. It's happening all over the place. Like Travis said, you can have a mask mandate, and what good does it do if nobody obeys it and nobody enforces it? You can have, I mean, California tried that, and they didn't even say who's in charge of enforcing it. So what good's that going to do? You can put it on the books, but if there's no penalty for it and nobody knows who's in charge of enforcing it, then is it really a rule? That's like having a rule in a basketball game that says you can't dribble the ball more than 10 times before you have to pass it or shoot it. But the referees aren't allowed to blow their whistle at it. Okay, that's not really a rule then, is it? So I don't know. Squib, what do you think?
What about the midterms, or about?
Yeah, about the midterms. Do you think I'm right? Do you think it's going to go a bad way?
Well, I mean, you said in the beginning, you were trying not to insult Democrats, but now you're like, well, we Republicans will get more. So I'm not really sure what message you're sending. I mean,
it's no secret that if we're going to stay Democrat in the House, we're not getting freedoms. I mean, that's no secret, right? It's the Republican lawmakers that are the only ones that are offering up laws that are pro-freedom.
I mean, we recently had that situation with the Republican senator from Iowa and a Republican senator from Alaska selling us out. So, the GOA made a big stink about that. So,
yeah, they're not all perfect either, are they?
I mean, for me, the midterms is about getting rid of our governor, but she just had a commercial on TV tonight. She's already trying to buy our votes. So we'll see how far that goes. People are stupid that way. So I'd like to see us get rid of our governor. I know there's a few other states where they'd like to see that as well. I think that, I don't know, with governors, you've got terms. They can only serve so many terms. With senators and representatives, I don't think there's any term limits, right? So you see these people in there for 40 years.
You're correct.
It's rare that you get some new blood in there. I mean, I'm all for looking to see where your representative or senator stood on this, that, or the other, and voting them out in the primaries. using the primaries to our advantage to get some new blood in there. And I know you run the risk, somebody will say, no, we got to keep the old people in there because some of them have been voting for things that we like for 40 years. Yeah, well, more of them have been voting for things that they like for 40 years. So I'll take my chances with somebody new. But once the name recognition is there, people just go and they go with what they know. I mean, I don't want to make any predictions because, well, quite frankly, people are stupid. In general, they're stupid or they're lazy. They don't think about their freedoms. They don't think about their children's freedoms, and they don't do like what you were saying. Take the time to do just a little bit of research. It's not hard to do with the internet today.
Yeah, voting records are pretty easy to find if you are willing to commit 5 whole minutes of effort into an internet search. So you're right, though. I agree. I'm not worried about stupid people because if they're that stupid, they may not be voting anyway. Maybe you shouldn't say that. Maybe it's the fact that too many stupid people are voting and they're the ones that aren't smart enough to do their own research. And I shouldn't say they're not smart enough to do it.
They're too lazy.
It goes back to those lazy people, and they're the ones that are going to sink this ship if it does sink. Because, I mean, we've all seen and heard the quote from Edmund Burke ad nauseum, right? The only thing necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. And of course, not just men, but good people to do nothing. Good voters to stay home and not vote.
So it's as simple as this. It seriously is. You go into Google. In my case, I would type in Michigan Secretary of State because they handle the elections in our state. Whatever group handles the election in your state. If you don't know, Google who handles the elections in state X, wherever you live, right? Find that out. Then you go to their website, .gov. You might have to do another Google search to find their website. Then when you go in there should be a tab for elections or voting or something like that. You might have to go through some of the registration stuff. You're not registering to vote. You're already registered, but that may be the direction you go to find it. And then they'll have a listing of everybody who's up for re-election or who's in the primaries or whatever it is you're voting in, right? And they may also have ballot initiatives there. And if you don't know who your state representative is or something like that, you don't know what district, you can literally type in your zip code or your street address and it'll tell you what district you live in. And then you can look those people up. And then from there, you can simply write on a piece of paper. I know that's a foreign concept to some people, but actually take a piece of paper and write down their names, or at the very least their last names. You want to get really lazy, write down their last names, fold it up, put it in your wallet, and then when you go to vote and you can't remember, just pull it out of your wallet. There's nothing illegal about that. And look at it and compare it and then mark those on the ballot. It's that simple. Now, the research on each individual person depends on what it is. You may not be concerned about the judge for this or whatever. You're interested in who voted to raise taxes, who voted to make the state a constitutional carry state. You might be looking at some other things, right? Or you may already know because you've been paying attention. You know that your governor stood up and said, no, we're not shutting down our state, and you want to reelect that governor. Or you might be in a state where the governor was on a power trip and you don't want that to that's common sense, right? But that is what I just described. You can do in one evening. Seriously. I mean, it takes longer to do your taxes than to do this. And you only go to vote every 2 years. I suppose you could say you vote twice every 2 years if you look at the primaries. But a lot of people don't even show up to the primaries. So that's not really a lot of work. It's not like, somebody's asking you to do this one night a week for a year.
Nope, I agree. Go ahead, Pat.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I agree. I mean, most of that stuff that you want to know what's going on in your district or in your state, you can sit down and look at in 2 to 3 hours and just set that side of time and be like, okay, well, here's the information. Here's what he believes in. Here's what she believes in. Make up your mind. Mm-hmm. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
So, and one other thing before we, I'm going to take this on a little skew right here because I've got to thank him for this. But Senator Joe Manchin, thank you for not voting for the Build Back Broker
No kidding.
deal. There's one moderate Democrat left, and well, maybe two, but
I keep
God he
waiting
didn't
for the
do that.
announcement that he's switching parties.
Oh, he did?
No, but I keep waiting.
Oh, okay. Well, I keep
I don't
hearing
know.
that rumor too, but
I don't know that, and maybe he won't. Maybe he won't switch parties. Maybe he doesn't need to. If he votes his conscience, then yeah, everything's not always going to be the way that we wish he would. But I'm glad that he at least has the cojones to vote his conscience in these instances that he's becoming infamous for. So yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator, for doing that and understanding that it's going to cause more harm than it's going to do good. I want to throw a few comments onto the screen here real quick before I lose track of all of them. Warsaw Patriot says, I've been seeing a lot of moderate Democrats even becoming gun owners and realizing the truth we've been telling them over the years. Yeah, that's kind of a loaded comment, though. We just recently, was it this week or last week? I think it was a lawmaker was in Philly, wasn't it? Somewhere a congresswoman got carjacked, and a very openly anti-gun congresswoman. Her husband is a licensed concealed carrier and used his firearm to thwart the carjacking attempt. So the defensive gun use in this case was done by the spouse of somebody who champions taking away the freedoms of the average, everyday, ordinary citizen to have that same firearm in order to thwart just such an attempt at a carjacking or other violent crimes. So,
Define oxymoron.
right, I agree there are more Democrats that are owning guns, but Democrats have owned guns for years. How many times have you heard a debate and somebody's saying, I own guns too? Whoopi is a gun owner, for crying out loud. I own guns too. I support the Second Amendment, but, right? It always comes with a but after it. So, Warsaw, you're not wrong, but it's not as good a thing as it maybe should be. What else? The Men of Tupperware is out there on the YouTube side. Says, when it comes to constitutional carry and other pro 2A legislation, force them to take a stand and put a vote on record before the midterms. Most are afraid of primary challenges. That all comes down to your state's legislature, though, and how the session works, or even the U.S. House, and how their sessions work as well. If the vote comes up before the midterms, sure. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Kind of depends on when, or I shouldn't say midterm, I meant primary. Sometimes primaries are way early in the year in certain states, and some of these bills haven't had a chance to be heard in a committee or voted on yet, let alone gone to the full floor. So I don't care what body it is, there are committees that have to hear these bills first, and if the committee thinks it's good enough to send on to the full body, then it goes, and if not, it gets killed there. It doesn't even make it. They weed them out, so to speak. So that does happen, and sometimes that process takes longer than the primary election. So just depends on the situation, the state, all that. Lonesome Lenny says it's a pendulum. It swings one way and then the other, which has ever been the case, right? I mean, power is constantly shifting back and forth, and it's never, too lopsided, but it's always been one or the other, and just kind of depends on how the current president is doing, right? And public opinion too. He also says, or they, the men, so I'm guessing plural. The Men of Tupperware, they say GOP needs 5 seats to retake the House. Dems already have 23 that announced retirement or running for other offices. We need constitutionalists to take over. That's why I keep saying I could care less if it's an R or a D or an L or an I or a whatever. Tea Party, Green Party, Whig, for all I care. I don't care. if they're constitutionalists and they understand what is and what isn't already allowed by law, what isn't on the books. We have so many laws that are introduced, or bills that are introduced, that that do the same thing that current laws already accomplish, and there's no need for this extra law that the bill would put into place. So that's very true. MKJO thinks a red tsunami is coming in November. We'll see. We'll see. Seems like there was a couple other comments. Blitz actually has put his money where his mouth is. If you're enough into politics and have thick enough skin, run for local offices. It is a good insight to the system and a good way to make a difference. Well said. I believe Alderman is the title. Alderman Blitz. Congratulations on the campaign last year. So yeah, he put his money where his mouth is. He didn't see anybody stepping up to do a better job, and decided that he's like John McClane. He's the guy. I mean, this stuff, some people, this stuff happens to, right? Or some people have to step up and take care of this stuff. John McClane is always that guy in every movie that he's in. Blitz is that guy in his local, I think, city government. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong out there, Blitz, but I think that's right.
I want to give something for some people to think about.
Yeah.
I'm not telling somebody how to vote, but I'm just going to give them my 2 cents. I want you to think about this. Somebody said over there's going to be a red tidal wave, and there was a red tidal wave back in November.
Yeah.
But blatant, obvious fraud was committed, not necessarily because one side was just so clever and so well prepared and broke the law and just got away with it. It's because the other side turned their back. The other side knew exactly what was going on. The side that you thought was with you, the side that you voted for all along, the side that is more pro-freedom and pro-capitalism and lesser of two evils, despite the fact that people don't like to hear that. They turned their back because they didn't like the top guy in their group getting reelected because he didn't play ball. So when it comes time to vote in the primaries, for those of you who actually get off your sorry butts and vote in the primaries, I want you to think about this person who knew there was fraud, this person who's in the same party that the guy that you wanted, the guy who legitimately won, is in, whether he is really hardcore in that party or not, or you even, totally agree with that party. The whole thing is, if you voted for that guy, other people in that party in your state, in the federal government, had the authority to request an inquiry, had an authority to have this investigated, had an authority to stop this, to halt this, to say, if you don't think that fraud was committed wide scale, then you are, you're just galactically stupid. Okay. No, they all turned their back because this guy wasn't one of them. This guy didn't play ball. So think about that when you go to reelect this person, because this person is just as responsible as their opponent on the other side, who you would never vote for, possibly, who helped commit the fraud. The people who did nothing to stop it, they helped commit it too. I'm just putting that out there for people to think about.
It's no secret what I do for a living is I sell cell phones. I'm not going to tell you which company. Please don't dox me out in the comments, anybody. Sometimes somebody brings me a phone. It's acting up. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. The only option I have is a factory reset. Wipe it clean, start fresh. I'm to the point now where I think that the only way to truly fix what's going wrong in the government is if there was a way to just reset the board, factory reset it. And I don't mean anybody dies, obviously. What I mean is let's take all of them and get them out of there and start fresh with all new people. If we had 535 new people to sit in those seats in Congress, somebody new to sit in the Oval Office. I don't know if I want 9 new people to sit in the Supreme Court, but that's part of wiping it clean, right? So 9 people who know the Constitution to sit there in those justice seats would be great. I would be all for 9 constitutionalists. They won't always agree with me. That's okay. But as long as they're justifiably following what the Constitution says, then I could deal with that. I wish there was a way to see that happen, and I don't think that it would be all good. I know some bad would happen. Sometimes I think it would be worth it. I would just like every 10 years, just everybody out. Let's get new people in here. I wish there was that big of a line of people wanting to do the position, knowing full well that they weren't going to make a career out of it, because that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Is that the way it was designed originally is somebody says, "Hey, Travis, we like how you carry yourself. We know that you're an honest person. You have proven yourself to be a man of integrity. And we want you to be the person that goes to Washington and represents our state, or this part of our state, at least this district in Congress." And then after 2 years, maybe 4 years, I mean, it's a 2-year term, right? So maybe 4 years into it, Travis is done. He's term limited out. He can't go back there. But at that point, we've already been looking for a suitable replacement, and we say, "Hey, Pat, you are a man of integrity. Travis cannot keep doing the job as is designed. So we would like you to be the person that goes and represents us and does the job of a congressperson. We understand that you've got crops to do, but we're going to help you. The community is going to pull together the way that farm communities always do. There's other people with tractors, other people with discs. We're going to make sure that the corn and the beans go in, that they get out on time, and that your grain gets put into the right bin. So don't worry about that. We'll take care of things while you're gone. You go represent us and have our backs in the Capitol." That's how it's designed to work. It was never designed for politics to be a career, politician to be something that you could be on career day. What's your dad? Well, my dad's a politician. Okay, but what does your dad actually do? That's not a source of income. That's just participating in government. But is he a teacher? Is he a farmer? Is he a mechanic? Is he a lawyer? What does he actually do? Nope. He's just a lifetime politician. That was never designed to be that way. So yeah, Lonesome Lenny's right. The system is ingrained to change. That's why we vote. I want to throw something out too while we're talking about voting. We've been talking about primary elections, and for anybody out there listening who isn't quite sure, they don't quite understand, why do we have a primary election before we have the general election? And those of you that can't be bothered to get off your lazy butts to go vote in a primary, that is the playoffs. Why do we have the playoffs before the Super Bowl? Because we want to make sure that the 2 best teams from each conference are the ones that are playing for the title, right? That's why we have that tournament, the playoff brackets in NCAA March Madness, right? 64 teams go. Only 4 make it to the Final Four, and out of them, only 1 can be national champion. The playoffs, the primaries are the playoffs. So all the Republicans run against each other, but just like Highlander, there can be only 1. And then in November, that's the title game. That's where the champion from the Republican ticket and the champion from the Democrat ticket, and if there have been enough votes to get an independent or a libertarian, what have you, on the ticket as well, then their name is there also. But that is why we have a primary. And if you don't like, say you're in Michigan, you don't like the governor, and you want to run and try to primary that governor and make her not even be available as an option in the general election, that's what the primary election is for. If you can do a good enough job and gain enough votes that person doesn't even make it, then obviously, no matter who wins, it's going to be a new governor come fall or come inauguration. So, but that doesn't happen without a primary. That's why there's still the option, even with an incumbent. There's no guarantee that they keep their job. Their challengers come all the time, but you have to be a better option than the current incumbent person. So keep that in mind too. You can't just show up and, contrary to what so many TV ads seem to claim, you can't just show up and have your whole campaign be, well, vote for me because the other guy sucks. Although it did work for Biden. So maybe that is a way that you can get elected. But if you're a person of integrity, then don't do that. All right, I want to switch gears here before it gets too late. I want to have some time and just discuss the other side of the coin. So not only do I want to talk tonight about what we think is going to happen this next year, but if you had a magic lamp and a genie was going to grant you, up to 3 wishes, I want to know what you wish could happen or hope does happen. There may be a chance that it really happens. It may be completely far-fetched and never in a million years, but it's a legitimate wish. So we're going to go back around the horn, and then I want you guys out in the chat as well to let me know, what do you hope happens or wish could happen or would happen in 2022? So, Squib, we'll go backwards this time. So we'll start with you. If you were king of the world, or at least king of America, what would you want to see happen with laws this year?
I mean, all right. Boy, 3 things that I could have some influence on going into effect that I think would make a big difference in this country. One would be term limits for all positions in government, and an overall term limit, how much you could be a government employee. Like only so many years you can be a government employee at any level. And you might go, well, then you'll never make it all the way up to the top. Yeah, you've got to have like a reasonable amount of time to get from postal carrier to president, right? But not for life. That includes appointed positions. All appointed positions have term limits, period. It's a government thing. There's a mandatory retirement age something, right? That would be one thing. Another thing would be eliminating federal income tax for everybody, or the opposite, federal income tax for everybody, but not one or the other. There's either no exemptions or everybody's exempt. And then last would be a way that the citizens, without the aid of any politicians, could set up a petition at any level, local, state, or federal. If there were enough signatures, there's had to be some sort of rule, a percentage for that voting district, or whether if it's federal, then it's a percentage coast to coast. It's a percentage in your town. It's a percentage in your county, your state, based on population. I don't know how you would come up with how you would have to know how many signatures, but you could recall any appointed official, period. Mm-hmm. Anthony Fauci, I'm talking to you. If enough verified signatures came in from all the states and territories, whatever that number needed to be, if that number was met, sir, you are gone. And no pension for you, sir. I don't care how long you've been in the government. When we kick you out, Mr. Appointed Official, Mrs. Appointed Official, you lose everything, all of it. Goodbye. The people have spoken. We are so fed up with you, appointed bureaucrat who thinks their job can't be taken from them. The citizens have spoken. We didn't use a judge. We didn't use a senator. We didn't a simple petition and a way to verify that all the names on a petition are legit. I don't know the meat and potatoes of it, but that would be something that would be great. Supreme Court Justice, goodbye, whatever.
Yeah, I would agree that it would definitely need to be a petition type of video, just like a recall or something like that. Exactly, a recall is all it would be. But yeah, Anthony Fauci is
for a bureaucrat who says you can't touch me. Oh,
exactly.
yes, we can. Yes,
Fauci
we
is the highest paid federal employee, and as a taxpayer, I don't have a say in that. I don't have a say in his salary. I don't have a say in how much power he's given, which is he hasn't been given as much as he thinks he has, but he's been given way more than he ought to have, for sure. Yeah, it would be great to have, if enough people are willing to sign that petition, then great. And if not, then so be it, right? That's how petitions work. And having been on the how do I say this? On the circulation end of a petition, I've circulated petitions in the past. Yeah, it's there's a lot of legal P's and Q's that you have to mind. But that comes back to verifying signatures and making sure that that they are the right people and counting them, throwing out duplicates. Well, I don't remember if I signed it. Well, go ahead and sign it because somebody's going to be there to count them. And if you signed it twice, then only one of them counts anyway. That's better than not signing it, No, I totally agree. That'd be a great way to just kind of clean things up a little bit and drain the swamp, maybe. I'd be really curious to see the actual merits and see that in action. That'd be cool. Pat, we're going to move to you. If you could just see 3 things that you wish would happen this next year, what would those 3 things be? And they could be things that you think are likely, and they could be things that are far-fetched.
Well, number one, and this was already, several of these things have already been thrown out there, but I'll reiterate them.
Okay.
More of our constitutional rights not being trampled on. I don't even know if I really consider myself a Republican or a liberal, or my thoughts are all over the place as far as stuff like that goes. But I would like to see people and the government run more by the Constitution as far as Supreme Court. I mean, everything. Mm-hmm. Sticking to the Constitution. That is one of the many things that has made this country great. Now, granted, it wasn't perfect right off the bat. I think everybody can pretty much agree on that. But that's one of the things. The second thing is protecting and securing our borders. Because all the illegals that have come across in the hopes of whatever grand scheme somebody's trying to cook up with everything coming across on here. The third thing would be a more streamlined, and I'll put it this way. Back when I used to race, they used to call it the KISS rule. It was called Keep It Simple, Stupid. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'd like to see more of. Got out all this. Okay, well, there's too much over here, so we got to put in a little more things over here. Then we got to do more over here, and it's like, no. Let's just streamline everything a little bit more, and that's the way it's going to be. So that way people can see it in more black and white versus the waters being muddied. As far as the way everything's written, because I've read some stuff, as far as laws and stuff, and it's just like, sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm taking my hat off, and I'm scratching my head, I'm going, what? Yeah. Okay, I literally got confused halfway through this dang thing, and now I need a lawyer to translate this and put it into layman's terms. So, yeah, those are the three big things that I would really like to see, because it's and I always go back to the KISS rule. It's keep it simple, stupid, and that's why I always try to run my life. So it always seems to work out better that way.
Yeah, my life too. I have a nature of making things harder than they are, but my head wraps around simple a lot better. That's for sure. So absolutely. Travis, what would you like to see happen?
Nationwide constitutional carry. Let's just get it. So let's just be done with it already. I mean, there's going to be laws that'll tell you what's going to happen if you don't follow the law anyway, or rules you got to follow. Okay, that's fine, but let's just make it happen. I mean, and I guess I'm kind of excited with Nebraska, potentially having that issue coming up again this year. That one, and then I like what Menatupper were saying. Congress can go to prison for insider trading. The American people get so screwed over by the back dealings of Congress, and it's kind of sickening sometimes. That's a big one too. And then some term limits. I'm a simple man with simple needs. Let's just hold people accountable, and let's just keep them in there for a limited time, so they're not setting up their family's legacy. They're actually being public servants. Wow, wouldn't that be refreshing? That's it, man. Those are my three.
There's that comment.
Congress can go to prison for insider trading.
If you're watching on the screen there, yep. And then also, I like the other thing that Men of Tupperware said: no elected official gets lifetime benefits. Yeah. I would actually expand that to no elected official gets lifetime benefits. No elected official gets different benefits. Congress has the same options that the citizens have. They have, if they pass a healthcare law or a bill, then they have to abide by it too, whatever is the case. So they don't get to dictate to you and me without it affecting them. That's BS.
If they want, they can buy into the same insurance premium as me. That'd be more than fair.
Yeah, exactly.
I let them have the same deductible as me and the same, out of pocket.
I think that would be exactly fair. I would love to see true constitutional carry. And when I say constitutional carry, I don't mean permitless carry. I mean true constitutional carry. The right of the people to keep and bear arms, not firearms, not bolt action rifles and pump action shotguns, not revolvers, not semi-automatic arms. If you can afford an A10 and you have a pilot's license, then you should have an A10. If you can afford 30 millimeter ammo, then you should be able to load up the Vulcan that's in that A10. I think the laws still apply as far as destruction of property, taking of life, things like that, right? If you're responsible, then you're responsible. If not, then you're not. I think that by and large, that it wouldn't be a big issue. But and I say that just because we haven't seen the gunfight at the OK Corral reenacted anywhere that has passed permitless carry any more so than it ever was. In fact, we all know that the dangerous parts of the world are Philly, Baltimore, Chicago, East LA, not the places, not Wyoming, not Kansas, not Texas now that has permitless carry. I haven't heard of shootouts in Texas just because people can carry without a permit. So yeah, but constitutional means you should have any weapon that you want. It's a tool. If you use it aggressively to assault somebody, then there are already penalties for that, and they should be enforced. I think they should be enforced more than they currently are. But if you've done nothing wrong, then there should be no reason why you can't have whatever you can afford to have. In a capitalist society, I think you should be able to buy whatever you can pay for. I would like to see, if we're not going to do away with income tax, I would like to see a flat rate, 10%. It's good enough for God. It's good enough for government. Everybody pays 10%. And I can't think of anything more fair than a flat tax. If you make $1 billion, then you can pay 100 million. If you make 100,000, then you can pay 10,000. It's still 10%.
It's not fair.
How is it not fair though?
Okay, you use the same streets, you use the same the public works like the water department, you use the same fire department, same police department, same public school, same Department of Defense protecting the. Why should anybody, any one person, have to pay more or less taxes than another citizen? Why should some people be exempt from paying taxes? We all use the same public stuff.
Not in my wish, 10%.
But you're still, that's not fair. A millionaire pays more in taxes than you. You pay more in taxes than somebody who chooses to be a deadbeat. How is that right? Flat tax isn't fair. I used to think it was fair for decades until I stopped and thought about it. It's no different than the tax system we have right now with all of its problems.
So when I go to the store and I buy a can of paint, then what I pay in sales tax should be adjusted to my income and not 7% tax here in my town.
No.
I mean,
you're being penalized for hard work, while the person who doesn't work hard isn't being penalized. And the person who has the most to lose pays the most in penalties. Why aren't we all paying the exact same amount? If we all if you got to drive on a road that somebody who didn't pay as much in taxes, got to drive on, or the police said, well, we're going to go to Sandhills' house because he pays more in taxes than the person living in the single wide. If we get two calls at the same time or whatever, then then it would be fair for you to say that. But if you don't get anything extra because you pay more in taxes, why should you pay more in income taxes, not sales tax, property? That's separate. That's apples to oranges. But when it comes to your income, if you get charged a percentage of your income, and people can go, well, somebody who makes $1 million only pays like 9% income tax, and I make $25,000 and I pay 18%, right? But they're paying, like $90,000.
9% of $1 million is a lot more.
$2,500.
Yep.
But you both drive on the same road. How is that fair?
But capitalism isn't fair. How is it fair that they make $1 million and I only make 25,000?
Because we have equality of opportunity in this country.
Right.
So if you want a flat tax,
how is it any less fair if I do well for myself?
That's equality. That's equality of outcome, and that's not the American way.
It's not equality of outcome. It's just part of the system.
Well, the system's broken.
Okay, but if I don't want to pay that much in tax, then I'm not going to make that much. I mean, if it was really an issue, I would take the job that makes 25,000 a year, not $1 million a year, and then I don't have to pay as much. But if everybody had that attitude, we wouldn't have much. I mean, we have that now. I can get paid to stay home. Why should I go be part of the workforce? Oh, guess what? Your taxes are going up because not enough people are working and paying taxes. So there's no perfect system. But I still think that a flat tax is more fair than adjusting it on a curve. And the reason that what's that?
The country was founded on no taxation without representation. How about no representation without taxation? If you don't pay income tax, you're not allowed to vote.
I would agree with that too.
Because you ain't got no skin in the game.
Yep.
Think about it. Your income, your government sourced income, your, whatever it is, right? You're getting all this money and you don't pay income tax on it. And this senator raises or votes to raise income tax every time it comes around. You go, what do I care? I don't pay taxes. Meanwhile, the people that are working their butts off to pay your welfare, they care.
I agree. I've said this for years about school tax. I have to pay to keep the schools going. I have to pay to fund the teachers' salaries and administration in my town, and I don't have kids in school. Unless I have a kid enrolled, I don't think that I should have that part of my taxes.
You just quantified my argument for why should a millionaire pay more in taxes than you. You just quantified it with that statement. You realize that?
I don't see it the way you do, so no.
You're paying taxes for the school district you live in, even though you don't have kids in that school. That's not fair to you. They're paying taxes to drive on the same road as you, for their kids to go to the same public school as you, for the same police department, fire department, library, Department of Public Works, National Defense, the post office, all the things our taxes go to. They're getting the exact same things. Why should they pay more? Why should they pay?
So my income tax doesn't go to roads.
You're paying for a service you don't use. They're paying for the same service that you get. Why should they pay more than you?
But is it my income tax that's going to the schools, or is it my property tax?
Okay, well, that's the apples to oranges part, but I'm saying the idea quantifies it.
If I don't have a car, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have to pay for roads. As long as I get no benefit from the car or from the roads, I never take a bus. I never take a cab. You're right. Like I said, there's no perfect system that everybody's going to agree is 100% fair.
You pay a registration on your car that's supposed to go towards the roads. You pay a gas tax that's supposed to go towards the roads. Who else can be on the roads other than cars? Bicycles. Why isn't there a registration for bicycles? Why aren't they required to have insurance? Why don't they pay some sort of fee? I realize I don't run on gas, but there's got to be something, right? How do they get to use the roads for free, but the people who drive cars?
I agree, but there should be a licensing for that too. You should have a license to operate any vehicle on a road. If you're going to ride a horse or drive a buggy down the road, then that should be licensed as well. But again, that's a whole different discussion because we're not talking about rights. So I would rather see no income tax. I agree. If we're going to have one, I still think that a flat tax makes the most sense. But and it would be, everybody could hate it equally. But again, if you're not making money, you don't pay tax. I think that you're right. It should be a two-way street. If you're taxed without representation, then that's bad. If you're represented without taxation, equally bad. So yeah, there's a whole lot of things that would have to be fixed. I think there should be exemptions for people that are legitimately disabled and can't work, right? But at the same time, we have to stamp out the corruption that's happening that is making people making it easy for people to claim disability and sit on their butts when they could go work, right? We need to incentivize the part-time job over full-time disability, and the people that that can only put in so many hours a week because their body physically can't handle it. Yeah, there needs to be something to help them so that they're not punished for at least making an effort, because not everybody's abilities are the same. There's so many things that we'd have to try and fix. If we took out the corruption, half of everything we complain about would already be fixed. And if we could just do that factory reset and wipe the slate clean and get good, honest people that actually represent us to go back and fill those seats, yeah, we'd have most of that fixed. And I think that we could eliminate a lot of the corruption just by not letting them stay long enough. So yeah, if they can't be in there, if they can't make money while they're there, and I think it should be an unpaid position, honestly. I think that they should have enough money to get room and board and conveyance back and forth between sessions. But other than that, I think that should be the only thing that Congress gets for pay. I don't think they should be able to make money in that position. Absolutely. If I had to list everything I would want, yeah, constitutional carry. Doing away with income tax would be great. And honestly, I think that my third one would be, it's not gun related, but my third one would be that the First Amendment is bolstered and a law was passed that says there's no such thing as hate speech. People, we reinforce that people have the right to be as mean as they want to be and say what they want to say without censorship. If you don't want your kids hearing, seeing things like that, it's on you to not give them a phone, to not have the internet in your house or TV in your house. If you're okay with it, then you're okay with it. That's fine. But I think that the internet shouldn't be raising the kids. If that's what's going to happen, then I don't think there should be any censorship. I don't think that there should be anybody saying that you can go to jail because you said this, that, or the other, and it hurt somebody's feelings. Granted, we're not as bad as some places like Canada or the UK, We've not had anybody that I've ever heard of yet go to jail for misgendering somebody or using the wrong pronoun. I just want to make sure that that stays that way for generations to come forever. So I would like to see that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be nice. I'm just saying that you're not required to be nice. When you have a freedom of speech, you have to take the bad with the good. And when it comes to government censorship, no, parents can censor what the kids see. That's their job. The government should stay out of people's lives as much as possible. So those would be my things. And my puppy gets to feeling better. She's got a boo-boo. She got some burns on her. So she's healing up. She doesn't feel the best yet. That'd be if I had a fourth thing, that'd be it right there. My puppy and my girl to both feel better this year. Be all healed up. All right. We've been going about an hour and a half. It's about time to wrap things up anyway. So guy that comments is in the house, and I don't think you're wrong. Chinese factory slaves should pay their fair share. Their fair share of the whatever 5 cents a month that they get paid, right? So, no. In all honesty, I think that more consumers should be willing to. It costs a lot more to buy American. We see that all the time, right? The things that are made in America by Americans at whatever the going rate is in a factory for an entry-level position, depending on where you live. It might be $18-20 an hour. It might be $40 an hour. I don't know. Depending on your skill level, it could be a lot more than that. American products cost more. I don't think that we need to introduce more money into the economy and print more. I think we just need to eliminate some of this crap tax so that people actually get the money that they work for, and then they can spend it on what they want. And again, the government should just stay out of it so that there is incentive to bring companies back to the States, and that the American consumer still has enough money to buy those products. So people complain all the time about, oh, don't buy that Chinese stuff, buy American. Well, buy as much American as I can afford to buy, but sometimes there's just too much month at the end of the money, and sacrifices have to be made, and I'm too poor to have principles at that point. So it's always a balance, right? I'm not going to shame anybody for buying things that weren't made in America. I still think that we should all try it as much as we can, and again, we need to incentivize companies to come home. Or incentivize people to start more companies, start small businesses. That needs to be incentivized. I wish there was an easy way to make that happen, but
that's all right. I'll shame them for you.
Go ahead. As somebody who works in an American factory, you shame away. You've got that right.
Well, that's why I was doing the videos, or I still got more I'm working on about the American-made products from a factory in Utah. I'm like, I didn't even know they had factories in Utah. They're not paying me. I'm not. There's no sort of deal. I'm just kind of interested in the fact that they said nobody does this, or we had trouble finding that, so we just invented it. We just started doing it in house. They started out small and gradually started doing more and more in house. And I think that's the direction they're headed in. If they keep doing what they're doing, I think they're going to draw in more and more, and just say we're not going to rely on another vendor or that sort. And they do so many things so that they don't have to send stuff overseas. It would be cheaper to send it overseas and bring it back and go, made in America with foreign components, which is still made in America. But that's why I'm kind of doing videos about their products, or testing out their products, or trying to wear out their products, or things like that. I'd like to see another American company succeed.
Heck yeah. And it's okay. We all know you're in the pocket of big socks. So I get it. It's fine. If you haven't seen Squib's videos, you need to go check them out, because, yeah.
No, don't check out my videos. and if you subscribe, please unsubscribe.
Come on, Squib. You do this for fortune and glory. That's why we're all in it, right?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
We love the 24% income tax we pay on AdSense revenue, don't we? Sorry, 25%. It went up this year.
in 25%.
Oh,
How are
good
you
Lord.
getting that lucky? I pay 30.
Oh, well, yeah, no, that was just the federal. That wasn't including state. So,
Oh, okay. So,
35? Yeah.
yeah, any super chats or AdSense revenue that I
Yeah.
get 70 cents on the dollar. That's how
Yeah,
that
this is the
works.
first year that I've got a report.
why there's-
How about this? Could John and Squib, can we just come to maybe, can we come to a happy agreement where maybe we just do like 10% tax on all purchases and no income tax?
That would be a better system because instead of being penalized for success,
Mhm.
you're being penalized for excess. How's that?
I can
Then if
agree
I
with
don't
that
want to
too.
pay, the 10% tax on that bag of Doritos, that's my choice if I decide to buy the bag of Doritos. I don't have to eat them,
Yep,
Yeah.
I totally agree, and yeah, I'm okay with that too. I like it. Let's make it so.
I mean, we're already paying 7.5% in Lincoln anyway. What's 2.5% more if it means I don't have to pay in
Right?
thousands of dollars every year? I mean, I'm claiming zero, but still, it
I'm
doesn't help.
When they
I'm
take
paying-
the income tax out of your check, it's not really your choice. I know you can claim exempt or you can take extra out or whatever it is. So from that sense, it's your choice. But when you go to spend it, then it's your choice.
Yep, and it
That's
should
what
be.
I like. My money, my choice.
I'll be running in 2024.
Is that going to
Make
be
it so, number one.
vote for Travis P. Once? Hashtag my money, my choice.
That's right. Don't go for the top 10. Go for the number 11, Travis P11.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, because the top 10
I take it to 11.
Top 10 are overrated. He's
Right.
number one twice in a row.
You know it. Exactly. That's right.
Wow. Or you could be, just Travis. In Rome, you'd be like Travis P2.
Travis P. II. Yeah. Why didn't you go Travis P1 or Travis? Because the first Travis P10s were taken. That's what it comes down to. It was like,
He's the 11th Travis P.
That's right. That's right. 11% tax. There you go. That's right. 11 for 11. Yep.
The first time I saw
11%
your
tax.
screen name, I'm like, he doesn't even know how to spell PT111. Oh my goodness.
And that's back when he was really hyping those things up too, because
Everybody thinks it was Keltec P11. It's like, no, it's because my Hotmail address, the first 10 Travis P's were taken. I tried to get Travis and
Now,
Travis
could
P
you see him
and then
setting
Travis
up
P1
for
through 10.
Travis P. Taken. Okay. Travis P1 taken.
I did. And it's like, how about Travis P11? I was like, well, if that's the lowest I can get, I guess I'll take it.
P3. Shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of Travis P's out there.
You know what happened though?
And this
'Cause
was mid 90s.
I guarantee he didn't sit there and type in 1 through 10. He's like P1, no. P2, no.
Actually, you'd be
P3,
surprised, John. I
no.
probably did.
He's like, crap. Well, the first 10 are taken. Let's try 11. And probably Travis P8 and P9 and P10 probably weren't even taken. So
no, I wanted the lowest thing I could. I just wanted Travis at hotmail.com, but somebody beat me to it,
There's other Travises out there?
Yeah, some other Trav I got
There's
it before I did. That was in 1996, dude. 1996, 1997.
You mean the
Hotmail
king
was
of the
invented.
Travi did not get that?
The Trav.
Yeah, you'd think the king of the Travi would be Travis P1.
I'm just another one in the long line of Travi. I'm not the founder. No, I'm just a client.
I am
Like
not
the
the
Hair Club
original
for
Greg
Men.
Pirate Roberts.
Like the Hair Club for Men. That's right.
I inherited the title, and the guy before me wasn't the original Greg Pirate Roberts either.
Exactly.
His name was Cumberbund.
Exactly. That's right. Yep.
All right. Bonus points for whoever in the chat can tell me first what movie that was from. No spoilers from the panel. And what are you going to win? Nothing. You get to you get bragging rights.
I was just trying to put the two together. The Dread P11.
Ooh, the Dread P11 Travis. Travis Dread.
Travis Montoya.
You killed my
You
father.
killed my squid. To die. My squid. We put it to die.
I like it. I like it.
That's right. That's right.
He's campaigning, and Travis is like, taxes. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Exactly. I'm telling you, if I ran on a platform of no income tax for anybody, I guarantee I'd get elected.
Yeah,
Free beer, chicken, no income tax. There you go. We're done.
Right?
We're done.
A chicken in every pot and Mossberg in every safe. I don't know, something.
Pretty much. Yep.
There you go. Hey, DJ's out there. He knows what's up. All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up, call it a night. I just want to say thank you to everybody who is still here. We had a long hiatus earlier in the year when Sandhills Sweetheart was going through her stem cell transplant, and it just wasn't working to do the show then. And we took a few extra weeks that we hadn't planned on taking. So those of you that are still here, I mean, right now we've got six whole people, or 7 whole people that are watching live right now. We used to get up to 30, and now I'm happy if we hit 10, which is rare. But some of you are still helping to share this, and those of you that are still here, you guys in the panel, you guys out there in the chat that I see week in and week out, you don't know how much it means to me that you take time out of your night to both of us. I've been corrected. My producer says don't leave her out of this. But honestly, that you take time out of your night, that you take time out of your lives to give it to us, to listen to us and hang out. We appreciate that. We love you more than you know. We appreciate you more than you know. Real quick, we'll give everybody a chance to wrap things up, and then that'll be it. We'll go to the list because we have the list tonight. So Travis, any closing thoughts, and then where can people find more of what you have to say?
I want to be optimistic about 2022 because it's been a rough couple of years. I think that things are definitely going to change, and I think that people are just going to start their freedom. I think is just going to start to take a priority, and maybe people are going to wake up a little bit. That's what I'm hoping for. Otherwise, you can find me over on YouTube channels Travis P11. That's my handle, I guess you could say, on all the Gun Streamer and YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff. That's where you can find me. We'll do an episode of Caliber Corner New Year's Day. Squib, set an alarm clock at 8 a.m. Central Time. We will be doing a New Year's Day episode. We're going
I
to.
actually do have an alarm on my cell phone that's labeled Caliber Corner.
Oh my God, so do I. It's terrible. It says Caliber Corner. Wake up like 4:15, 5 o'clock. It's terrible. But so we'll be doing a podcast on Saturday morning. We had a lot of fun on Christmas mornings, kind of mess around for an hour. I don't know how long we'll go on Saturday. We'll just have the episode, and I actually have resolutions, John. You kind of shot my topic down for Saturday when I saw the listing for this episode. But these are pro two-way resolutions that we're going to try to stick to this year. So
well, there you go. I said no resolutions.
Okay.
So resolutions would be the opposite of what.
Yeah, these are pro two-way resolutions. We do this every year. It's our annual gun resolutions chat, is what we call it. It's be the 3rd time we've done this now. So all I know is I just keep getting more and more plump every year. But otherwise, we're good, man. Appreciate the invite. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pat, you're up. Closing thoughts, and where can people find more of you? Oh, I think he froze. He's
you
back.
can find me at Pat Hirsch on YouTube. What's that?
Oh, I thought you froze, but you're there.
Oh, okay. No, I'm at Pat Hirsch on YouTube. I don't Instagram. I don't Facebook. This is about as far as I'm going to go. So, but yeah, been doing some live streams and stuff out in the tractors and stuff. I think the next one, hopefully tomorrow, I get the Smith & Wesson video out. And next live stream I will be doing, do some live firewood cutting and just some more general farming stuff. So,
live firewood cutting.
Yeah.
All right, folks, just listen here. I don't know if you're into things that are gruesome, but you want to tune into that because it might be the only chance that you get to witness somebody cutting off his own foot without getting sprayed with blood. So
Pat,
if you've ever wondered what that looks like, and I think that we should, you know what, if I get any super chats before the end of the night, I'm going to give you all of the super chat money from tonight in a tourniquet fund.
I was going to say,
just in case.
Emergent care fund, cover this deductible for the year.
Tourniquets and quick clot.
Yep.
God.
Pay Pat's deductible for 2021. Now's a good time to get injured because the first year hasn't kicked in, so your deductible doesn't start over for like 3 more days. So if you're going to cut a limb off, this is the time to do it. So that way you met your deductible.
I knew you guys were going to do something
right.
like
But
this.
I do have a pair of Husqvarna Kevlar line chainsaw chaps you can wear if you want to. And yep.
I'm pretty safe when I run the chainsaw.
That's what
run
everybody says.
one.
Yep. That's what everybody says, right?
Just one condition on the chainsaw shaft.
Sure.
Pat.
Yep.
Don't look up and try to take calls when that thing's running in your hands, okay?
Right?
Yeah.
No.
If you're gonna wear the chainsaw shaps, you have to promise us that you'll be wearing jeans underneath them.
Yep.
No,
You
that's
could be
all
a
I
loser
wear.
junk
is
chat if you're
jeans.
not careful.
No chainsaw chaps. It's
No
just
shaps without the
low.
pants. No
Yes.
chinchillers.
I'm
Seriously, the
not
offers
going
on
down
the table
that
if you need them.
road. No, I'm not, John. I'm not going down that road. I'm just going to take the high one on that one.
Quick lot. Make sure you
I'm
got,
not
yeah,
even
make sure you
going
got a
to take
tourniquet.
that one.
Quick lot.
No, I have a belt that turns into a tourniquet really quick,
Oh,
just
good,
in case
good.
I need it. So
Let's see, how
but-
fast can Amazon Prime get Pat an emergency trauma kit? I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see.
God.
Tomorrow by noon. Don't kill yourself before noon, okay? Wait till the UPS
No, I
truck
have
shows up, and then
field
you can take the
crafts
pressure off
survived
of
the
it.
tourniquets.
Yeah,
Cutting
you know,
firewood
it's
with-
there's no NASCAR right now. So where else can people tune into live TV just to see somebody get hurt and live vicariously through their pain? So the lumberjack games are usually recorded and broadcast later, just in case somebody does have a runaway chainsaw.
I could put some of my old racing videos up where you could see me getting hurt.
Well, again, it's not live.
See that.
Yeah, we don't honestly want to see you get hurt. So
like end over end going down a backstretch and then wind up on a guardrail impaled.
Oh, God.
The car,
Yeah,
not
you
you.
guys
Oh.
haven't seen some of the nasty stuff that I used to do.
Wow.
So anyway, that's where you can find me. You can find me on YouTube. Hopefully live streams and more to come, and hopefully a new studio here in the next month. So
cool.
Thanks for having me on, John. I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody out there. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Squib.
Yep. Thanks for being here, Pat. All right, Squib, any final thoughts? And if you want, where can people find you? If you don't want, I'm still going to post it.
Don't post it.
Oh, dude, I can't unring that bell.
I don't want people to find me. I'm thinking about tuning in to see the Nebraska Chainsaw Massacre. That's all.
Yeah.
Well,
that's my chainsaw review. I did a chainsaw review. If you want to see me just seriously tearing up some wood there. So yeah.
Okay, so Defense Dad's out there in the chat. Happy birthday, Defense Dad, my fully semi-official co-host, who's not here tonight in the panel, but that's because he was getting his party on. But I do want to put this comment up because I got to know Defense Dad. He had to trim the beard a little. He got hot brass stuck. So did you get burnt? Did it singe the hair? Did you have a hole in the beard from the hot brass? How hot was it? That's what I want to know. So, or was it just because you had a little bit of burn on the skin? So
I had just gotten to the range shortly after that happened. I didn't notice anything, like there's no smoldering, but it's such a thick mane.
I know it's really a manly man beard is what that is.
Probably balance it out a little bit if you did get a chunk taken out of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I was trying. I am definitely not a barber. I went to trim mine up here a while back and had a slip of the wrist, and it turned into a beard catastrophe, and so I had to go back to just goatee for a while. But it's fixing to get cold this week, so I will probably let it grow for a while, and just in case it stays cold for a while. So 2 pieces of 22 long rifle melted a little spot. Well, there you go. So who said 22 long rifle can't hurt anybody? Not me. All right. With that, we're going to call it a night. Again, thank you, everybody. Honestly, you're not going to want to miss next week. I really want this to get into a discussion, and I really hope that we step on a few people's toes, because we're going to talk about the things that everybody loves to post or put on their t-shirts, their bumper stickers, their back windows of their pickup, all the fun signs that say, keep honking, I'm reloading, or we don't dial 911 if you can read this, you're within range, all that fun stuff. We're going to get into a real discussion of, it's cool, you have your First Amendment right to say whatever you want to. It could put you into jail, and just think about stuff. Also, just the possibility that I saw that fun meme this week where the guy had a Gadsden flag and then the "Come and Take It" sticker across the top of his back window of his Blazer, Bronco, whatever it was, and then the next picture underneath was the same vehicle with the back window smashed in, and it said, "Yeah, they did. They came and took it." So, yeah, I mean, if you let the world know that you're a gun person, then you could be targeted. It could mean that you get your stuff broken into just because people are looking for guns and ammo and that kind of stuff. So you take a chance. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that you need to think about it before you do it. That's all. So, all right. Oh, we've got a super chat. So this is a dual duty super chat because it says go subscribe to Squibload. But then, the 556, or at least 70% of the 556, also goes to the tourniquet fund. Oh, he's got the tourniquet belt, so the Quick Clot fund for Pat. So,
Merry Christmas, John. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Pat. All right. Honestly, on behalf, we got to do the list. We can't go yet. We got the list. Here comes the list. The list is coming. It's making its way to me right now. Here's the list. All right. I didn't see anybody commenting at all on Facebook. Shame on you, Facebook. You need to comment too. Make it lively. On the YouTube side, we had Gerald Krennic, Pat Hirsch, Travis P11, Ghost Tactical, Lonesome Lenny, The Men of Tupperware, Defense Dad, G23, MKJO, Warsaw Patriot, Blitz, Kingpin, Guy That Comments, Mike, Mystic Guns, DJ Play Nice, Sam of Anarchy. That seems counterintuitive. You're at least supposed to make a comment or ask a question when you get those put up there. Anyway. All right.
It's just there.
Thank all of you for making this a fun night. On behalf of Squib and Pat and Travis and Liberty Bell the puppy and Sandhills Sweetheart and myself, we'll see you next year. Tune in next week. We're going to have some fun panelists. We should have Mike Woodland from MW Tactical. We should have Rob Morse. If you don't know who that guy is, look him up. He is probably the smartest person in any room he walks into. And I don't remember who else. Maybe I think Mike Piwowarski will be back too from the rundown. So check us out next week. It's going to be a fun panel. It's going to be a fun discussion, and we'll see you next year. But it's time to go. You guys got to get out of here. Get off my lawn.